Hi guys, just wanted to start with a big shout out and a thank you to our host According to Kat and Coffee with My Sunshine. These ladies are so talented, you must go check out their channels. This video is about how to use beer bottles or any kind of bottle really as home decor. I originally created this bottle to be a candle holder. I spray painted the bottle black and I'm actually using poofy paint for the lettering. You can use whichever painting method you prefer. I did draw a draft first just to help myself with the design and the layout. Next, I created a couple embellishments for my bottle using foam paper. Then I painted them gold to match the wording and accent. Here I'm taking a very stiff brush and I'm going to antique or rusticify, however you want to call that, the bottle. And I'm just going to dab it slightly in the paint. I don't want a whole lot of paint, and then I'm going to dab it off because I want basically a dry brush. And we're just going to brush around the bottle, being careful not to brush over any of the wording. And I do not push down very hard with my brush, just lightly covering it. When I get around towards the words, I'll swap to a smaller brush so that I can get some of that gold in between there and it's not just stark black. As I said at the beginning of the video, this was intended to be a candle holder, but as I was taking it to my daughter's room, I passed by an anniversary gift I made for my husband a couple of years ago. It's just a picture frame and a gold full rose. But it just looked so perfect with it that my candle holder became a rose holder and an accent piece for our anniversary picture frame. Here I have cut 3 different lengths of jute, and this is what I will be hanging the embellishments from. I have 2 sizes of jute, a larger jute and then a really thin one that's more like a twine, almost like a baling twine. It's so thin. The jute is a mauve tan naturalish color, where the thinner jute, I'm going to call it baling twine, is a brighter color and looks similar to the gold I was using. I'll be using the thicker jute to wrap the bottom of the bottle as well as the neck of the bottle. For a more permanent bond, you could use super glue or E6000 as your bonding agent. I'm using hot glue just because it's a lot quicker. If you want the best of both worlds, you can start with a dab of hot glue and complete it with the E6000, then end with the hot glue to hold it in place. It will give you the more secure bond later and the quick bond now. As your bonding agent, I'm using hot glue just because it's a lot quicker. Here you'll see I actually decide to unwrap this jute and replace it with the thinner jute for part of the neck. I wanted a tapered look. It does show the difference in color, but I actually like the way it turned out. Of course, bottle art is your masterpiece. You make it how you like it. Last but not least, we'll take a lighter and burn off all those little stray hairs hanging off of the rope so it doesn't have that fuzzy look. I think the dry brush gold accent really was the icing on the cake. Now go make something beautiful. No paint or no quote unquote artistic skills? No problem. This little vase just requires glue, water, and some cloth. I used a solution of 2/3 water to 1/3 part glue. You can use any glue, really, Elmer's glue, cheap glue, whatever. I do not suggest using Mod Podge. It tends to leave a flaky exterior after it dries. The cheap school glue works best, I think. Now, I did use a fabric that's a little difficult for wrapping, the pleated fabric. It's was a really stiff, like polyester, nylon, rayon type mix. So it was a little difficult getting pasted down compared to a cotton or a more softer blend. However, I chose this not because I really liked the fabric, but because my mother did. It was a skirt that she had hoped I would wear, that she could no longer wear. I did not like it, would not wear it. So I thought instead I would make a vase for her. It's going to be part of her Mother's Day gift set coming up this year. Anyways, you literally just dip all the fabric through the glue, wrap it around, make sure it's shaped and formed how you want, because once it's dry, it's staying in that shape. I used some rubber bands. I wanted to make a tuft around the top there because this is going to be a vase. This is after it's dried. Now I have gone in and added some twine, some jute. I'm going to make a bow. My bow is intentionally messy. You can use any flower in these. Those two flowers are foam roses that I was experimenting with months ago. I'm actually going to use the pansies. They match beautifully. All the colors would have matched with that, but pansies are my mother's favorite. I'm going to add this little bicycle clip as an embellishment. I just pushed the little metal keeper out of the center and took the spring off and glued it onto the back of the string. And there you go. Now this one is my absolute favorite. It is a photo holder. Now I have found that spray paint or house paint works a little better for your base than your acrylics, because you really need two coats. And the acrylic, sometimes even after it's dried, seem to flake up a little. So now I've let this dry and I've gone back in with a second coat. If you'll notice the first coat, I actually used a sponge right towards the beginning. It gives a smoother base. It really didn't matter for the second coat. Now here for my sunset, I put a combination of dots, red, orange, and two different tones of yellow. After doing this, I would suggest not doing the dots, just starting fresh with the paint in the area you want. I found it very hard to get enough coats to go over the little ring that the dots left because acrylic dries so quickly. It had already started to leave a little dry ring under, so I had to do that area several coats. And as you can see, I'm just taking the different colors and blending them in together until I'm satisfied that they look somewhat like a sunset. Next, we will add a very basic shadow drawing of a tree. I also took black and did a complete ring around the bottom of the jar, the bottle there. So it kind of looks like a dirt, a ground landscape. I just randomly drew branches for my tree. Here I've got a toothpick in case you don't have that little special tool I have, which is just a dot tool I actually use for small lettering sometimes. I am going to write "Our Family" on the tree since it's going to hold family photos. The little scene you seen there in the middle was some of those fuzzy colored pipe cleaners for crafting. I took 3 of them and cut them in half, and I chose green to match the greenery that I will be putting in the top of the bottle. Here you see I roll them, and I'm rolling them pretty tight so that the rolls push up against each other because that roll is going to hold the picture. If you had some green craft wire that's stiffer, that'd be even better. They would not hold the pictures by themselves without falling over, so I wound up attaching them to some skewers with some hot glue. And as you can see, I put the little ivy top in there and then the skewers, and then I attach the photos, and there you go. You now have a family tree photo stand. Don't forget to check out our hostess channels and please subscribe to mine. Check my Facebook page out and please feel free to leave me suggestions on things to create. I love creating unique things for people, so if you do have any suggestions, please contact me through my Facebook page messaging module. Thank you.